Speak, Prosody, P. Chapter 700 to 656 The Grand Finale _8 Chapter 700, Chapter 656 The Grand Finale _8 The last word wasn't finished when from upstairs, 3 bangs from gunshots were heard, followed by sounds of struggle. Su Dayuan quickly ran towards Zhou Ning and the others, as the southern side was the closest entrance to the main building. The other officers also rushed upstairs like mad. Just as Su Dayuan reached the stairs' edge, the sound of shattering glass filled the air. A sniper rifle fell to the ground along with the glass, and after a loud noise, parts scattered everywhere. Then 2 people appeared at the window. Zhou Ning squinted his eyes. Lu Yufei was choking a man by the neck. The man was covered in blood, one of his wrists handcuffed, and Lu Yufei seemed to want to lock the other cuff on her own wrist, clearly identifying this man as the hunter. Seeing his face, Zhou Ning clenched his teeth. Yes, this face completely matched his memory. Although the Zhu Xingmin they'd found before also looked much like Hua Mao, the ferocity on his face didn't match. It wasn't something that could be faked. But the struggle between them was fierce. Lu Yufei was pinned at the window with her back starting to bleed, half of her body dangling outside. Mr. Zhao covered his mouth in shock. During the struggle, Feng Mu used his gun to strike hard at the hunter's head. /P break time equals 300 ms / prosody / speak. Speak, prosody, P. With a roar from Feng Dongxing, the hunter was thrown out of the window by his legs. Feng Mu pulled Lu Yufei away and grabbed the hunter's wrist. Grab my hand, I'll pull you up. The hunter laughed, shook his head at Feng Mu, and then looked down, revealing a bleak smile. I'm tired, can't help you anymore, son. Don't forget what you promised me. With that, the man raised a knife the size of a finger and slashed at Feng Mu's arm. With such an action, Feng Mu subconsciously let go to defend himself, and the hunter fell backwards towards the ground. Bang, a loud noise. He fell straight to the ground. Blood instantly spurted out, turning the surrounding area into a pool of blood. Zhou Ning couldn't believe it. This wasn't the outcome he had wanted. This man was one of the true culprits who killed his parents. Wang Guanli's resolute jump from the building had already filled Zhou Ning with regret. The hunter's body could not repeat that scene. He instinctively wanted to rush to where the hunter fell, but Zhou Jialong grabbed Zhou Ning's shoulders from behind, restraining him. Mr. Zhao hurriedly raised his hand to signal. Zhou Xiaozhou, don't panic, I'm going right now to check, and I'll call an ambulance immediately, okay? I understand what you mean, but don't get agitated. As he spoke, Mr. Zhao ran towards the hunter. The moment Mr. Zhao squatted down, the hunter on the ground twitched. After checking for a pulse on the neck, Mr. Zhao shouted loudly, Quick, call 120. He's still breathing. /P break time equals 300 ms / prosody / speak. Speak, prosody, P. After speaking, he picked up the hand still in cuffs and locked it to the other wrist. Mr. Zhao checked him over before getting up. Tao Zhinshan had already brought people over, and the remnants of the sniper rifle had been collected. Several people surrounded the hunter, ready for anything, given how desperate he was even to jump. Zhou Ning breathed a sigh of relief. Right then, a scream came from behind. Zhou Ning whirled around to see Zhu Xingxing with her hair grabbed and a gun to her head, standing at the main building's entrance. However, from this angle, it was impossible to see who was holding Zhu Xingxing hostage. Not far away, Xia Momo had fallen to the ground, and Sun Gaotai reacted quickly, pulling on the arm below, dragging her towards Zhou Ning and the others. Mr. Zhao ran back and saw this scene just as he was about to act. Bang! A gunshot rang out, and a bullet hit the ground in front of Zhou Ning. The person holding Zhu Xingxing's hair also revealed his head from the side. Seeing this person's face, Zhou Ning wasn't surprised. Stay where you are, nobody move. Mr. Liang? Mr. Zhao exclaimed in surprise. Zhou Ning stared at the man, pulling on Mr. Zhao's wrist. Su Dayuan had already run over. You sure hid deep, Mr. Liang. I never expected you to be the hyena. It seems collaborating with their investigation on Yagalenga was merely to divert our attention towards Sapporo. /P break time equals 300 ms / prosody speak. Speak, prosody, p cruel and insidious indeed, but using the hunter's life to trade for Bai Qishan only to end up unsuccessful. Don't you think you're at a loss? Mr. Liang laughed, glancing at the location of the blood pool. Someone had to die today. Without Bai Qishan's death, we couldn't have lived either. It also denied the choices I made for over 20 years of my life. I've captured your friend's wife. How come Director Zhou didn't think to volunteer for an exchange? I'd love to see you become my hostage. Zhou Ning stepped forward, but Mr. Zhao held Zhou Ning firmly, tears streaming down his face as he shook his head ardently. "I'll go, that's my wife." Zhou Ning, with a burst of strength, pushed Mr. Zhao away. "Okay, I'll come for the exchange." Mr. Liang seemed to pull another set of handcuffs out of nowhere and threw them on the ground towards Zhou Ning. "Put them on yourself, walk backwards towards me, or else I'll shoot this girl in the stomach first. She won't die but won't be well either, then it would be perfect." Zhou Ning squatted down, picked up the handcuffs, and as he stood up, he glanced at Mr. Chu with a meaningful look. Mr. Chu understood instantly and quickly crouched down to begin working. With the handcuffs on, Zhou Ning turned his back and began moving backward toward Mr. Liang. He looked at Mr. Zhao and Su Dayuan, staring into their eyes, glancing towards the metal door that Su Dayuan had almost fallen through earlier, then towards the gas cans that had been rescued along with Lu Yufei. /P break time equals 300 ms. / prosody / speak. Speak, prosody, p. They didn't show much expression, but Mr. Zhao clenched his fists. Zhou Ning didn't keep his mouth idle, tilting his head slightly to check the distance between him and Mr. Liang. "Have you been undercover so long that you've lacked confidence in your skills? Hence, capturing a girl. I'm already here, let Zhu Xingxing go. Whatever you want to talk about, we can discuss it now. /P break time equals 300 ms / prosody / speak. Speak, prosody, p. Chapter 701 to 656. Grand finale _9 Chapter 701. Chapter 656. Grand finale _9 Mr. Liang grabbed Zhu Xingxing's hair and violently tossed her to the side. Zhu Xingxing lost her balance and crashed to the ground, while he swiftly grabbed Zhou Ning's collar, aiming the muzzle of his gun at Zhou Ning's temple. At this moment, Mr. Liang smiled, his nicotine-stained teeth showing as he turned his hand over. He stepped up one stair, enabling him to trap Zhou Ning's neck with his elbow. Bringing his mouth close to Zhou Ning's ear, he whispered secretively, "You're wrong. I didn't want to negotiate. I just wanted to die with you before my death. After all, you've been scraping by for 19 years. If it weren't for Li Wei muddying the waters then, you wouldn't have been rescued, and you wouldn't have come back 19 years later with these people to investigate your father's case. So, today everyone should return to their rightful places. I'll take you to meet your father. It's the last bit of care I can show an old friend. I'm just not sure where you've detained the others, but rest assured, I've prepared quite thoroughly. Look at this little gadget. It can level this place to the ground. Time to say goodbye, kid." As he spoke, in the hand that Mr. Liang used to grasp Zhou Ning's neck, a small remote control with a single button appeared. Without hesitation, Mr. Liang pressed it. There was no explosion as one would expect. /P break time equals 300 ms / prosody / speak. Speak, prosody, p. There was no disturbance in the rear yard of the Public Security Bureau at all. Startled, Mr. Liang paused, and at that moment, Zhu Xingxing, whom had just thrown off, howled and raised a scalpel to charge at him. Mr. Liang instinctively tried to turn the gun, but then a gunshot rang out, and his right hand, holding the gun, was shot. The pistol flew out of his grasp. Zhou Ning raised his hands and spun around, using both arms and his handcuffs to strangle Mr. Liang's neck. He quickly took several steps back as Zhu Xingxing, who was now in front of him, slipped and stabbed the scalpel into Mr. Liang's ankle. With a terrible cry, Mr. Liang fell to the ground. Mr. Zhao rushed over, picked Zhu Xingxing up, and Su Dayuan and the others moved forward, controlling Mr. Liang. Fang Mu ran over to unlock Zhou Ning's handcuffs. Mr. Liang screamed, fixating his gaze on the remote control on the stairs. Zhou Ning walked over and picked up the remote control. Surprised, aren't you? You were so well prepared, and yet your detonator failed. Are you frustrated? Don't worry, I can tell you that it wasn't your detonation device that malfunctioned, but that WED already jammed the surrounding signals. How should I put it? Although you were secretly trained over 20 years ago, learning to use some high-end devices and equipment, and even kept updating them later, you took it for granted. Do you think standing on a rock makes you the king of the mountain? But look at yourself. /p break time equals 300 ms / prosody / speak. Speak, prosody, p. You spend most of your days hiding your identity, living in a place as closed off as Guangzhou. Do you have any idea to what extent Hua country's technology has developed over 20 years? A computer expert on our team could easily sort out everything you had planned. So don't flatter yourself. You're just a rat gasping for air in the sewers, nothing but a rat. Mr. Liang shook his head, the pain in his wrist and leg unable to calm his disbelief. He couldn't believe his meticulous plan had failed. How had he been captured? Impossible. Su Dayuan approached with a dark expression, glancing at the ambulance, dealing with the hunter. Villains die from talking too much. You know that, right? Bai Qishan wasn't kept in the detention room at all. With your intelligence, scheming something like this? Think about how you're going to explain yourself. I'll also tell you, you won't die, and Bai Qishan won't die either. Right, bring them in, he ordered. With a swoosh, a crowd surged forward, lifting Mr. Liang from the ground. Mr. Liang, undeterred, threw back his head and laughed loudly. What if you've caught me? The hunter's son is among you. It doesn't matter if a few of us old guys get caught. He's still here. He'll continue what we've started, and sooner or later someone will contact him. That's his fate. Start your internal investigation, but don't think you're so clean, ha ha ha. Mr. Zhao held his nose and looked Mr. Liang up and down. Stinks to high heaven. /p break time equals 300 ms / prosody / speak. Speak, prosody, p. Change all his clothes, inside and out, to prevent him from hiding anything, especially his mouth. Brush it out. Living in the sewers for so long, his mouth reeks of it. Ping Shinian, check his teeth, clear out any poison teeth. Su Dayuan let out a sigh, turning to Fang Dongxing, considering Director Huang and Director Xing had vanished. How are the casualties? Fang Dongxing pursed his lips tightly. 1 dead, 7 injured. The cost is fairly low. Director Su, what shall we do next? Su Dayuan gestured dismissively. Evacuate. Everyone inside the Public Security Bureau, get out. Mr. Chu only jammed the signals, but the explosive devices planted by Mr. Liang, let's call him Hainan now, should still be there. With reinforcements from all over in place, let's bring in the explosives experts. Leave people to guard both side doors and evacuate the personnel within a 5-kilometer radius. Mr. Zhao, holding Zhu Xingxing, who was trembling all over with blood on his hands, approached Su Dayuan with a darker expression. Who gave you the courage to charge in with just a scalpel? What if something went wrong? Zhu Xingxing pouted as tears streamed down his face. Mr. Zhao grew anxious. Leader, shall we also evacuate now? Su Dayuan nodded. Everyone head to the Guangzhou City Hotel across the street. I've already sent someone to clear out the Qingwei building at the back. Mr. Zhao blinked and shoved Zhu Xingxing away, getting close to Su Dayuan. /p break time equals 300 ms / prosody / speak. Speak, prosody, p. Chapter 702 to 656, Grand Finale _10 Chapter 702, Chapter 656, Grand Finale _10 Leader. Did you foresee this? Or are you saying all of this was expected? Wait, is Bai Qishan also detained there? Su Dayuan smiled. Let's go, our mission is over. Let's get some rest and wait for the investigatory team to arrive. I think they should be here soon. Once the handover is complete, we can go home. Mr. Zhao seemed to understand. He looked at Su Dayuan and then at Zhou Ning. A pair of sly old foxes. Fine, I won't ask anymore. Is it okay if Luda and Tao go with them to the hospital? Su Dayuan ignored Mr. Zhao. Mr. Zhao, chatting incessantly, followed Su Dayuan, asking questions relentlessly. In truth, he was just not used to the relief after the tension, especially since they had just narrowly escaped death. As everyone else walked away, Zhou Ning glanced at Xia Momo standing not far off. Zhou Ning walked over and took Xia Momo's hand. "I've worried you, but everything is over now." With those words, Xia Momo couldn't hold back her tears any longer. They streamed down her face. "Zhou Ning, I thought you were going to die. Let's not take on such dangerous tasks anymore, okay? I don't want to lose you. I promised Grandpa that I would take good care of you." Zhou Ning held Xia Momo's face and kissed her directly on the lips. It's all over." Xia Momo pushed Zhou Ning away, glanced around quickly, and hurriedly wiped the tears from her face, still fraught with concern. "But just now, what did Mr./P break time equals 300 ms/prosody/speak? Speak, prosody P Liang mean by his last words? He implied that the hunter's son is among us. Does this mean we need to have everyone's blood drawn for a DNA comparison?" Zhou Ning rubbed Xia Momo's hair and took her hand. "Come on, we can't stay here for now, especially since the explosives haven't been cleared yet, and we don't even know if there are any gas tanks left in the cafeteria. I'm really tired. I want to take a shower, change into clean clothes, and get some good sleep without worrying about anything or thinking about anything." At this moment, they had reached the roadside, and most people had already passed the intersection. The police, who were tying up loose ends, had not followed them. Xia Momo held tightly onto Zhou Ning's hand, and they stopped. Xia Momo stared into Zhou Ning's eyes, as if trying to analyze something from his expression. However, after watching for a long time, Zhou Ning merely smiled without speaking. Xia Momo frowned slightly, her face revealing undisguised concern. "I heard what the hyena shouted just now. The hunter's biological son is among us. You know who he is, don't you?" Zhou Ning tried to move on, but was stopped by Xia Momo. Zhou Ning shook his head. "I can't tell you. I need to discuss it with Director Su first, then decide what to do. I'm not telling you because if he stays, he'll still be one of our good partners. But if I tell you, you'll feel alienated from him from now on. Do you understand what I'm saying?" Xia Momo sighed. "/P break time equals 300 ms/prosody/speak. Speak, prosody P." She knew that Zhou Ning seemed to be a gentle person, but once he set his mind on something, nobody could stop him. Upon arriving at the hotel, Zhou Ning realized that members of the investigatory team from the two commissions had already arrived, and some of them had begun questioning by Qishan. As for all personnel involved in the case, they were ordered not to leave a 10-meter radius of Qinghui building until further notice. Zhou Ning wasn't in a rush to go up, since Su Dayuan was providing some evidence. The recordings and such had already been handed over to the investigatory team, which was why they had come in the first place. Xia Momo greeted everyone to freshen up and then sent someone to retrieve their belongings from the hotel where they were staying, considering everyone was filthy from the explosion and rescue efforts. Seeing that there would be some time before his talk, Zhou Ning decided to take a shower and change into clean clothes and then promptly went to sleep, not waking until sunlight streamed through the window and Xia Momo shook him awake. "Zhou Ning, wake up. If you keep sleeping, I'm afraid you'll get hypoglycemia." Zhou Ning rubbed his eyes and sat up, noticing porridge and steamed buns on the table. He yawned. "Is dinner just this simple? It's already morning. Go wash up and have breakfast. They'll talk to you at 8. Actually, they wanted to talk to you yesterday, but I stopped them. You were so tired. Even calling you twice didn't wake you up. /P break time equals 300 ms/prosody/speak. Speak, prosody P." Upon hearing this, Zhou Ning quickly washed up and ate. Once he was ready, there was a knock at the door. He straightened up and opened the door to find two men in casual clothes nodding at him. They checked the list, smiled, and said, "Zhou Ning, right? Please follow me. As for this lady, please wait in the room and don't leave. You are not needed for questioning at the moment." Zhou Ning didn't waste any words and followed the two men to the end of the hallway. He expected to take the elevator, but after turning a corner, they entered a large suite. As soon as he came in, he saw Su Dayuan sitting at the farthest east side of the room. In the center, behind 2 tables, sat 4 people, with a chair placed in the middle. The 2 men reported their arrival, then led Zhou Ning into the room and gestured for him to sit on the chair. Seeing Su Dayuan on one side, Zhou Ning knew such an inquiry was just a formality, so he calmly faced the people in front of him. One of the thin old men asked, "Zhou Xiangrong is your father?" Zhou Ning nodded. "Yes, my father is Zhou Xiangrong, and my mother is Bai Mei, although she changed her name to Bai Ping while working at the hospital." The man laughed, glancing at Su Dayuan's direction. Seeing that Su Dayuan had no intention of explaining, he set down his pen and stood up. "The reason we called you here today isn't to verify anything, as your investigation has already been very thorough. /p break time equals 300 ms / prosody / speak. Speak, prosody p greater than I just wanted to share some information that you may wish to know. Do you have any questions? /p break time equals 300 ms / prosody / speak. Speak, prosody, p chapter 703 to 656, grand finale _11 chapter 703, chapter 656, grand finale _11. Zhou Ning paused, glanced at Su Dayuan, and then turned his attention to the man in front of him. In an instant, Zhou Ning understood that this man was from the National Security Department. It seemed that during the more than 30 hours he had been asleep, the interrogation and verification processes had already been completed. The wolf's tooth, along with all the other evidence provided earlier, had been accepted. Of course, a bolder conjecture was that Bai Qishan, the hunter, and the hyenas had already confessed. They had obtained their full testimonies, which matched all the evidence here. Zhou Ning's eyes narrowed slightly. He almost asked, did this mean he could ask anything he wanted, even secrets internal to the organization? Thinking this, he cleared his throat. Su Dayuan lowered his head slightly, covering his nose and mouth with his hand, trying hard to control his expression. Before, when he was with Zhou Ning, he could at least make a symbolic attempt to cover up, but now, when it concerned everything about his parents, how could he continue to hold back? I have 3 questions. First, is in Li Wei, also known as Peng'en, a child deliberately abandoned by the Yugu people? Was he a partner to my father or in a superior-subordinate relationship? Was it him who rescued me when I was critically injured and sent my parents' ashes and 30,000 yuan back to their hometown? /p break time equals 300 ms / prosody / speak. Speak, prosody p. Su Dayuan's body trembled slightly. Though it was framed as one question, there were actually several things that needed to be answered within it, all related to Enliwei. The thin old man didn't get angry. After thinking for a while, he said, "We believe that Enliwei was an orphan, whose blood he shared didn't interfere with his loyalty to the motherland. He and your father were comrades in arms. Your father saved his life, so he went all out to save you and sent your parents' ashes back to Qidong. He also gave you 30,000 yuan of his own money as consolation funds." Zhou Ning's eyes narrowed. He hadn't expected the man to make such a definitive conclusion without him asking. The second question, who is my father's superior, the one who leaked information to Minjin? Was it Feng Tianquan? When Wang Guanli was executed, who released him? Of course, if these 2 questions involve classified information, you don't need to answer them. Just tell me the outcome of this person's case. The thin old man looked to his left and right, and after a brief low-voiced exchange with others, he finally spoke. "I can't reveal the names of these 2 individuals, but I can tell you the outcome. At the same time as you reported the evidence, these 2 were arrested and questioning started. Once the proceedings over here are finished, the verdict will be handed down very quickly. Though the details can't be made public, the outcome will be." Zhou Ning raised an eyebrow. /p break time equals 300 ms / prosody / speak. Speak, prosody p. Naturally, the outcome would be public. After the verdicts for Bai Qishan, the hyenas, and the hunter were finished here, they need to hold a public sentencing. With Minjin and Sapporo having schemed for such a long time and now caught in a scandal, they should put the truth to good use. That was only proper. All right, there's no last question. The thin old man seemed surprised, set down his pen, and crossed his fingers. I thought you would ask about your parents. Don't you wish to exonerate them, to have them recognized as martyrs? Zhou Ning shook his head. I may have thought about it before, and very much wanted to, but after investigating everything, I was astounded by all that my father had done. At the time, he killed everyone from Minjin and Sapporo who knew the truth, hiding those treasures not to be deified as a martyr, but to protect the people's peace, to preserve his beliefs, to protect Hua country. The thin old man stood up, and the others by his side also stood up, paying their respects to Zhou Ning. Zhou Ning felt somewhat flustered, and though he was in plain clothes, he also saluted. Su Dayuan stood up, smiling at the thin old man. Boss, that's about enough. We'll get our things together and prepare to leave. Let's not get too formal like a political vetting. The thin old man smiled. Thank you for your efforts. /p break time equals 300 ms / prosody / speak. Speak, prosody, p. If it wasn't for you using the guise of investigating a cold case in Ganzhou, we wouldn't have known where to begin, let alone discover what was hidden in that cave. This operation has essentially cleared out all of Minjin's operatives in the northern region. However, I hope Zhou Ning will consider. Su Dayuan raised his hand, stopping the thin old man mid-sentence. Boss, don't talk to us about this. The handover is complete. This is all your work now. Mr. Hu said, if anyone dares to poach someone or uses methods against us, he'll show his true colors. So don't set your sights on Zhou Xiaozhou, and don't say you didn't have that intention. That look just now said it all. Everyone suddenly laughed. The thin old man walked up to Zhou Ning, shook his hand firmly. Your words have moved me. However, the recognition of your parents as martyrs will be confirmed later. I know you don't wish to disturb them. Since there's a gravesite for your parents, well, renovate and expand the area around it and provide the consolatory payment as well. Su Dayuan patted Zhou Ning's shoulder, interrupting what Zhou Ning was about to say. That's enough. We'll be leaving now. Zhou Ning shook his head. Before we go, I'd like to pay respects to Enliwei. I think his early death may have something to do with the hyenas. The thin old man nodded. Yes, it's related to the hyenas. /p break time equals 300 ms / prosody / speak. Speak, prosody, p. Actually, your father didn't let Enliwei get involved in hiding the treasures to keep him out of trouble, given Enliwei's identity, which we only verified afterward. Enliwei doesn't have a gravesite or descendants. His ashes are stored at a memorial place. Zhou Ning paused slightly and then said, Can I take his ashes with me? Bury them with my parents. At least I'll visit them often. You mentioned renovations and expansion, so it can all be done at the same time. /p break time equals 300 ms / prosody / speak. Speak, prosody, p. Chapter 704 to 656. Grand finale _12 Chapter 704. Chapter 656. Grand finale _12 The gaunt old man looked up with efficiency and patted Su Daiwan's arm. I like Director Zhou so much. I was actually going to discuss this matter with you, but I didn't expect you to bring it up first. So, let's do as you suggest. There's no need for you to handle the ash collection. Someone will bring it to your room later. Su Dayuan waved his hand. Then we'll take off, heading to the airport in an hour. Till we meet again. Till we meet again. An hour later, at Ganzhou City Airport. Everyone was happy to be able to go home, all of them in one piece. Zhou Ning stared out the airport's glass windows at the bright blue sky, watching planes take off and land. A figure slowly approached Zhou Ning from behind. Zhou Ning didn't move, remaining in the same position, and didn't initiate conversation. After standing like that for a few minutes, the figure behind him rubbed his hands awkwardly and spoke. Boss, you know everything? Zhou Ning glanced at him and nodded slightly. MHM. When did you find out? Zhou Ning pondered for a moment. Since I woke up from the coma in the hospital, I knew you were related to him. Except for the eyes, you two look too much alike. Then I learned about Zhu Xingmin from Lucy, and when Mr. Hu mentioned that Zhu Xingmin had a twin brother who also had a son, by the age, I was sure of it. Zhou Jialong pursed his lips and stared at the back of Zhou Ning's head, vigorously rubbing his hands. /p break time equals 300 ms / prosody / speak. Speak, prosody p, since you know about my identity, especially during the arrest of the hyena, when he shouted at the end, his words were true. That man really did find me, during the days you were unconscious. I thought I ran into a scam and hung up the phone. But that man actually showed up in my room, told me a lot, said he didn't know about my birth back then, and was unaware of how cruel my birth mother was, giving me away when I was not even a month old. He also said that he secretly took a sample of my blood, had the DNA tested, and showed me the report. I told him to leave. Boss, I didn't reveal any information to him. I ran out to call for someone, and he left too. Zhou Ning turned around and smiled at Zhou Jialong. I know. Then, you're not going to report me? Zhou Ning stared at Zhou Jialong. Report you for what? Report that you were born into the wrong body, that you shouldn't have this DNA? The person I know is called Zhou Jialong, a disciple I personally brought up. Do you disagree with this, or do you think I haven't treated you well and want a change of workplace? Zhou Jialong shook his head vigorously, and at this moment, his lips tightened and tears streamed down his face. He wanted to say more, but not a word came out. The harder he tried to stop his tears, the harder he cried. Zhou Ning watched and began to smile as well. Boss, thank you. Don't thank me, thank yourself. All right, it's time to go home. Just then, a voice came from the loudspeaker. /p break time equals 300 ms / prosody / speak. Speak, prosody p passengers of MU 6591 flying to Qidong, please proceed to gate A8 for boarding. Mr. Zhao called out. Let's go, time to head home. Zhou Ning carried a red cloth-wrapped urn, which contained Li Wei's ashes, a person who had once sent him home, and now it was Zhou Ning's turn to take him home. Walking towards the boarding gate, they had just lined up when they heard a series of orderly footsteps. Fang Dongxing led a group of police officers, running towards them in formation, and gathered near Zhou Ning and his group, standing at attention. Su Daoyuan looked puzzled. They hadn't informed anyone of their departure, and Ganzhou was bustling with activity. He didn't know how Fang Dongxing had heard the news so quickly and came over to shake hands with him. How did you know to come here? We had to come, to see you off. So much has happened these past few days, and I didn't expect to be suddenly appointed acting director. If you guys hadn't left, I would have had someone to discuss this with, but let's not talk about that. Thank you, all of you, for your dedication to Ganzhou, and today we're here to send off Mr. N. Although he has no children, being able to accompany Director Zhou to Qidong and be buried with his old comrades is something we're happy about on his behalf. When I go to Qidong, I'll visit him. At these words, Su Daoyuan felt moved and nodded forcefully. Fang Dongxing adjusted his uniform and shouted loudly, Take care, everyone. Till we meet again. /p break time equals 300 ms / prosody / speak. Speak, prosody p at ease, attention salute. End of book. /p break time equals 300 ms / prosody / speak.